Welcome back, everybody, to the Deep Dive. This time we're looking into making money online, specifically with websites.
Yeah, your sources actually go way deeper than just the usual, like throwing ads up on a site.
Okay, so what are we actually talking about here? What kind of strategies?
Well, one is interesting. It's almost like you're a landlord online. You build a site, but instead of it being for your business, you lease it to somebody else.
So it's like I build an online apartment building, but instead of people, I get a business to move in.
Exactly. And you would want to pick something pretty specific, like a local service, plumbers or something.
Okay, so I build this great site for plumbers, find a plumber who needs more customers, and then,
And then you're is essentially their online storefront. They get the customers, you get a steady income.
all right, so I'm the matchmaker. I bring together the website and the plumber. But how do we set the rent? How much do they pay me?
It all comes down to the value you're providing. You got to factor in things like how much each lead is worth to that plumber, how many leads the site is bringing in, and what the plumber usually charges for their work.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
You want both sides to feel good about the deal. And sometimes, it seems like in the sources they said, sometimes these website owners would actually handle those first contacts from potential customers, like a virtual receptionist.
Yeah, and it makes sense, especially if the plumber isn't very tech savvy. You make things super easy for them. And you can also make sure the leads are actually good, so the plumber is only paying for real potential customers.
But of course, this all relies on trust. One of the sources told a story about a pool company that totally stiffed the person who was sending them leads.
Oh, for sure. If you're going to do this build and rent model, you got to have really clear communication and fair deals from the beginning. You're both in it together for the long haul, hopefully.
Right, you're both invested in each other's success. So that's the build and rent model. What are some other ways to make money with websites?
Well, instead of having one tenant, you could kind of scale things up and create a directory website.
Like a specific Yelp, right? So instead of everything, it's just the best vegan restaurants or the top dog groomers in a city.
Exactly. The businesses in that niche would list themselves on your site, and maybe you could even charge more for those top spots in the list.
Okay, I get it. So instead of getting rent from one business, I have multiple businesses paying to be on my directory. That sounds like it could really grow fast too.
Yeah, the scaling potential is definitely there, and it's good because if one business leaves, you're not suddenly out all your income. Plus, that directory itself could be a valuable thing you could sell later on.
There's always a catch though, right? What makes this directory model tricky?
You got to get enough businesses to sign up, and you got to market it really well. Your sources actually said that the really broad directories are struggling. It's all about niche directories now.
So no more businesses in Boise website. Instead, it's the best Boise bonsai tree experts.
Right. You got to find those communities that are really passionate about something specific, and then you become the go-to resource for them.
Okay, so we have the build and rent model and the directory. Is there a third way to make money online?
You could sell leads directly. So instead of renting out the website or a listing, you just generate the leads and sell them straight to the businesses who need customers.
So I'm not the storefront and I'm not the marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm like the supplier bringing the valuable raw material, the potential customers.
Exactly. And there are so many ways to do that, like using SEO, paid advertising, and even just making really good content that attracts people.
Okay, so that's where my SEO knowledge comes in. I need to figure out what people are searching for, those really specific needle in a haystack searches.
Yep. One of the sources actually found a really cool way to do that. He saw there was a huge rat problem in DC, and that made him realize
That there must be a ton of people looking for pest control services.
Yeah.
So he built a website and started selling those leads to exterminators.
That's it. It's all about understanding what people are searching for and connecting the dots between everyday problems and the businesses who solve those problems. You could target people with allergies or people who need movers. It just depends on what you see going on around you.
Man, this is starting to sound more like detective work than website building. But, okay, let's say I figured out how to get all these leads. How do I connect with the businesses? Do I just cold call them?
You can, but building trust is key. One of your sources suggested using personalized videos. Using something like BombBomb. It feels much more personal than a regular email.
I like that. It's a nice human touch.
Yeah.
But how do I actually prove that my leads are valuable?
You need a way to track where those leads go and show the businesses that you're actually bringing in paying customers. A good tracking system is essential.
So we have build and rent, directories, and direct lead selling. 3 really different models with their own unique challenges. But before we dive into the details, are there any common things we should keep in mind no matter what?
Yeah, let's talk about that next. We should cover things like finding the right niche, building a website that actually converts, and all that.
All right, the deep dive is about to get real. Hang on, everybody, we're just getting started.
It's kind of cool how these website models, they're like flipping the script on how we usually think about online businesses. Like instead of building your own brand, you're the one connecting businesses with their customers.
Yeah, I get what you mean. We're like the online real estate developers,
Right.
right? We find the good spots online and then build something for specific businesses.
Exactly. And just like with real estate, it's all about location, location, location. Finding the right niche, knowing what people want in that area, and then finding the right businesses to work with, that's key.
And speaking of niches, my research really hammered home that specializing is the way to go. Like you were saying, those giant directories that try to cover everything, they're not doing so hot. It's the super specific ones that are booming.
Right. People online are looking for really specific things. Think about it. They don't just search for dog food. They search for organic, grain-free dog food delivery in San Francisco. That's the kind of search you got to master.
One of the sources, a guy who builds a ton of these websites, he said he sees the world differently now, always looking for those everyday problems that could be turned into an online opportunity.
He's like that guy in DC with the rat problem. Most people would just be grossed out, but he saw a business opportunity.
Exactly. A huge demand for pest control. So he builds a website, gets those leads, and connects with the exterminators who are happy to pay for them.
He's like a digital problem solver.
Yeah.
Finding those pain points and then creating a solution that benefits everyone.
So instead of complaining about the lack of good vegan restaurants in my town, I should be building a website for them.
That's the idea. You become the go-to resource for that specific need. You could do it for anything: wildfire protection, snow removal, even hurricane window installers, whatever makes sense in that area.
I'm getting so many ideas now. But it can't just be about throwing up a website and hoping for the best, right? We got to make sure the businesses we're working with are actually good at what they do.
Absolutely. You're putting your reputation on the line. If you send someone a lead for a plumber who does a terrible job, that reflects badly on you.
Makes sense. I wouldn't recommend a bad hotel to a friend, so I wouldn't recommend a bad business to someone through my website.
It's all about building those long-term relationships where everyone benefits. You're looking for businesses that care about quality and customer satisfaction as much as you do.
One of the SEO experts we looked at, he really stressed the importance of data and testing. It's not enough to just build a website and cross your fingers.
Yeah, he was talking about how he has a whole team dedicated to researching, testing, and tweaking their strategies all the time. Because Google's always changing things up, you got to stay ahead of the game.
So they're like scientists in a digital lab, always running experiments and using data to make decisions. That's got to be so important in such a fast-paced field.
Oh, totally. And that data-driven approach applies to working with clients too.
Right, you have to be able to prove that you're bringing them value. It's not enough to just say, hey, I sent you some leads. You got to show them how those leads are turning into paying customers.
Exactly. You got to be able to demonstrate that return on investment, show them how many leads converted, how much they spent. That's the kind of stuff that matters to businesses.
You know what surprised me in the research? Some of these bigger operations are using call centers now.
Yeah, one guy who runs a whole network of websites, he was saying he has a call center to handle those first inquiries, qualifying leads, and even scheduling appointments.
Wow, so they're like a virtual receptionist service on top of everything else.
Exactly. It's about making the whole process as smooth and efficient as possible. And speed is key.
They were talking about KPIs, those key performance indicators, and their goal was to respond to inquiries within seconds. Seconds.
It's wild, right? But that's the world we live in now. People expect instant answers. If you don't respond right away, they'll just move on to someone who does.
The early bird gets the worm, as they say. Or in this case, the early responder gets the lead and the customer.
You got to have systems in place to automate those responses. That's how you stay ahead of the game.
One of the sources actually compared navigating this whole online business world to playing poker. You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
You got to be smart about choosing your battles. Not every niche is going to be a winner. Not every business partnership is going to work out.
So you need the smarts to know when to go all in on a good opportunity and the wisdom to walk away when something's not working.
And that takes self-awareness, knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at, and being brave enough to make tough decisions. It's not always easy, but it's what you got to do to succeed in the long run.
And you got to be able to handle those setbacks, the bumps in the road that are going to happen with any new business.
One guy told this story about playing football with his older brothers when he was a kid. He'd get knocked down all the time, but he'd always get back up and keep playing.
That's resilience. And it sounds like that's what's helped him succeed in business, too.
It's about having that grit, that determination to overcome obstacles and keep going, even when things are tough. That's what separates the winners from the quitters.
And you got to learn from those experiences, the good and the bad. One of the sources was really big on having a testing mindset.
He's all about experimenting, analyzing the data, and constantly tweaking his approach. He sees every setback as a chance to learn and get better.
And you got to have the right people around you, a team that shares your vision and pushes you to be your best.
He believes in having a diverse team with different skills, people who can bring fresh ideas and help each other succeed. It's not a solo mission, it's a team effort.
And you need to build a company culture that encourages creativity, collaboration, and always striving for excellence.
He's all about creating a positive and supportive environment where everyone feels valued and empowered to do their best work. A place where people can thrive, both individually and as a team.
And you have to invest in your team, give them the resources and support to keep learning and growing.
He's a big believer in continuous learning, both for himself and his team. He's always looking for ways to expand their knowledge and skills because he knows that staying ahead of the curve is crucial in the online world.
It's inspiring to see how much he prioritizes growth, both personally and professionally. And at the end of the day, it's all about finding that balance, right? Working hard, but also enjoying the fruits of your labor.
He talked about making sure he has time for family and his hobbies, because true success isn't just about work, it's about living a full life.
It's about creating a life you're passionate about, both at work and outside of work. One thing that really struck me in the research was how much emphasis there was on mentorship and sharing knowledge. There's a real sense of community in this field.
Yeah, a lot of these successful entrepreneurs are really passionate about giving back and helping others succeed. They know they wouldn't be where they are without the help they got along the way.
It's great to see them pay it forward, sharing what they've learned, and helping the next generation of online entrepreneurs.
One guy actually said that seeing his team members and business partners succeed is even more satisfying than his own personal achievements. It's about helping others reach their full potential.
It's like creating a ripple effect of success, empowering others to achieve their dreams and make a positive impact. It's all about collaboration and support, knowing that we're all in this together.
That sense of community, that shared journey, it's what makes this field so special and inspiring.
It's not just about websites and leads, it's about relationships, empowering others, and making the online world a more vibrant and connected place.
And that's a mission worth pursuing.
One thing that came up over and over again was the importance of having multiple streams of income. These smart entrepreneurs, they're always looking for ways to diversify and create more stability.
Totally. They know that putting all your eggs in one basket is risky, especially in the online world where things are always changing.
So they're always exploring new opportunities, testing different strategies, and building multiple income streams to create a more stable and sustainable business.
One guy said he started with those rank and rent websites, but then branched out into affiliate marketing, selling digital products, even investing in other businesses.
So he's not just a website guy anymore. He's a full-fledged entrepreneur.
That ability to adapt, to change your approach as the market changes, that's what's key for long-term success. You got to be flexible and ready to jump on new opportunities when they pop up.
It's that classic entrepreneurial spirit, that drive to learn, grow, and try new things. And what's cool is that these models, they can be applied to pretty much any industry.
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare, finance, education, pet grooming, you name it, the principles are the same.
Find a niche, understand your audience, build a great website, master SEO, get those leads, and build strong relationships with the businesses.
And be adaptable, innovative, and use data to make decisions.
One of the SEO experts we looked at, he talked about how crucial it is to always be testing and refining your approach.
Because those search engine algorithms are constantly changing. If you want to stay ahead of the game, you got to be willing to experiment and adapt.
He said he has a whole team dedicated to analyzing data, tracking results, and looking for new opportunities. They're always learning and improving.
That's what sets them apart. It's that constant desire to learn and get better.
And you got to be able to handle those challenges, those setbacks that are bound to happen when you're building a business.
He told this story about one of his websites that was doing really well, and then all of a sudden it lost a ton of traffic because Google changed their algorithm.
Oh man, that's a nightmare scenario.
But instead of freaking out, He and his team got together, analyzed the data, figured out what went wrong, and came up with a new strategy that ended up being even more successful.
It's all about resilience, bouncing back from adversity and coming out stronger on the other side.
It's about seeing those setbacks not as failures, but as opportunities to learn and grow.
It's about having that grit, that never give up attitude.
And it's about remembering that success isn't about reaching a certain point. It's about the journey, the process of getting there.
It's about enjoying the ride, embracing the challenges, and celebrating those small wins along the way.
You can achieve anything you set your mind to as long as you're willing to put in the work and never give up on your dreams. You got this.
You know, what's interesting is how this whole approach to making money online kind of challenges the way we traditionally think about branding.
Right. Instead of trying to build a recognizable brand, you're more like a behind-the-scenes facilitator, connecting businesses with their customers.
One of the guys who builds these rank and rent sites, he said he actually chooses really generic names for his websites on purpose.
Yeah, that way if one business decides to leave, he can easily transition the site to a new tenant. It's all about flexibility.
It lets him focus on what really matters, getting those leads and delivering results.
It's a more practical approach, focusing on functionality over flash.
And that practicality extends to the way they design their websites, too.
Absolutely. They're all about user-friendly designs that are optimized for getting those leads.
It's not about having the fanciest or most beautiful website. It's about making sure it's easy to navigate, the message is clear, and it effectively captures those leads.
Substance over style. That's the name of the game.
And the same goes for their content.
They're all about creating high-quality, informative content that actually provides value to the people reading it. No clickbait or gimmicks, just helpful information.
It's about building trust with your audience, establishing credibility, and showing that you're an expert in that niche.
And that approach to content not only helps with SEO, but also strengthens those relationships with the businesses you're working with.
It creates a win-win situation where everyone benefits.
One of the most inspiring things about this whole approach to website monetization is the emphasis on building those long-term, mutually beneficial relationships.
It's not just about making a quick buck. It's about creating partnerships based on trust, respect, and working together to succeed.
One of the sources, a woman who runs a successful SEO agency, she talked about how important it is to really get to know the businesses she works with, understand their needs, and find ways to help them grow.
She said she often goes above and beyond for her clients, providing them with valuable insights, connecting them with other resources, and even helping them develop their marketing strategies.
She's not just a service provider, she's a true partner in their success.
And that approach builds loyalty, creates strong relationships, and leads to a more sustainable and rewarding business model.
It's about recognizing that your success is tied to the success of your clients.
And that by helping them achieve their goals, you ultimately achieve your own.
You know, it's really interesting how well these online business models fit with the whole trend of remote work and the gig economy.
Totally. They offer a level of flexibility and freedom that traditional jobs just can't match.
One of the guys we looked at, he's built a whole bunch of those rank and rent websites, and he was saying how this business model has allowed him to travel the world, spend more time with his family, and do all the things he loves.
He said he can work from anywhere with an internet connection, setting his own hours and creating a lifestyle that he truly enjoys. That's the dream.
It's about having the freedom to design your own life, work on projects that you're passionate about, and create a schedule that fits your needs.
That sense of autonomy and control is so empowering.
It allows you to break free from the constraints of a traditional job and build a career that's truly fulfilling and meaningful to you.
It's about becoming the architect of your own destiny, designing a life that aligns with your values, your passions, and your aspirations.
It's a powerful thing.
One thing that really stood out in my research was the importance of having a strong support system.
Oh, absolutely. Building a successful online business can be tough. And it's so important to have people you can turn to for guidance, encouragement, and accountability.
One woman who's built a really successful SEO agency, she said that having mentors was crucial to her success.
They gave her advice, helped her through those early challenges, and gave her the confidence to keep going when things got tough.
And she talked about how important it is to surround yourself with a positive and supportive community, both online and offline. It makes a huge difference.
Having that sense of connection, knowing you're not alone in this journey, it can provide a sense of purpose, a network of support, and a source of inspiration and motivation.
It's a reminder that we're all in this together.
You know, I found the discussion about the future of SEO and the impact of artificial intelligence or AI Really fascinating.
Yeah, a lot of the sources talked about how AI is rapidly changing the online business world, and anyone who wants to succeed needs to adapt. It's exciting and a little scary at the same time.
One guy said he's already using AI tools to do things like keyword research, content creation, and even website design.
He thinks AI is only going to become more powerful and integrated into our workflows in the future.
It's definitely coming. So we need to embrace those advancements, learn those new tools, and figure out how to use AI to our advantage. But it's important to remember that AI is a tool, not a replacement for human creativity and ingenuity.
It's about finding that balance between using the power of AI and maintaining that human touch that's so important for building relationships and making those genuine connections.
One of the seasoned SEO experts we looked at, he stressed the importance of sticking to those fundamental principles, even as technology changes.
He said that while AI can be helpful for automating tasks, Google's ultimate goal is still to provide users with the most relevant and valuable search results. You
Yeah.
can't lose sight of that.
Exactly. Creating great content, building user-friendly websites, and focusing on a positive user experience, those will always be essential for success in SEO.
It all comes back to people.
It's about connecting with your audience, understanding what they need, and providing them with something valuable.
And that human connection, that'll never go out of style. It's amazing how much these guys are always learning and expanding their skills. They're not content with just knowing one thing. They're always branching out and trying new things.
One guy said he started out just focusing on SEO, but then he realized that if he really wanted to succeed, he needed to learn a bunch of other stuff too. Website design, content marketing, social media, even a bit of coding.
So it's not enough to be a specialist in one area. You got to be more like a digital marketing Swiss Army knife, ready for anything.
Exactly. And it's that commitment to constantly learning new things that really sets them apart. They're like lifelong students of the online world, always hungry for more knowledge.
They're not afraid to try new things, to challenge themselves, and to keep pushing their
I
boundaries.
get it, you know? The online world is constantly changing, so you got to change with it. If you're not learning and adapting, you're falling behind.
One of the women we looked at, she runs a super successful online business, and she talked about how she embraces lifelong learning, not just because it helps her business, but because she genuinely enjoys it.
She's always reading books, going to conferences, taking online courses, connecting with experts. She's built this incredible network of knowledge around herself.
It's like she's created her own personal university for success.
It's so cool to see. She just loves learning new things, and that keeps her inspired and constantly growing.
And it's not just about stuffing your head with information, right? It's about broadening your perspective, challenging your assumptions, and finding new ways to solve problems.
It's about becoming a more well-rounded, adaptable, and innovative person.
You know, one thing that really impressed me in all this research was the importance of perseverance. Building a successful online business, it's not easy. You can face challenges, make mistakes, and have moments where you just want to give up.
One of the sources, this guy who's built a massive online business, he said his path to success was anything but smooth. He had setbacks, he messed up, and there were definitely times when he doubted himself.
But he never quit.
He learned from his mistakes, he changed his approach when he needed to, and he just kept pushing forward. That's what makes all the difference.
He had this unwavering belief in himself and his vision, and that's what ultimately got him to where he is today. It's a great reminder that we can achieve anything we set our minds to as long as we don't give up.
It's so true. Those setbacks, those challenges, they're not failures. They're opportunities to learn and grow. They're like stepping stones on the path to success.
It's about having that grit, that determination to keep going even when things are tough.
And remembering that success isn't a finish line, it's a journey.
It's about enjoying the process,
Yeah.
embracing the challenges, and celebrating those wins along the way.
You got this. You can achieve anything you set your mind to, as long as you're willing to put in the effort and never give up on your dreams.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from all of this? What's that golden nugget of wisdom they can carry with them?
I think the biggest takeaway is that there's no magic bullet, no secret formula for success online. It all comes down to those basic principles: hard work, perseverance, being able to adapt, and willingness to keep learning and growing.
It's about having that entrepreneurial spirit, that creative spark, and the confidence to believe in yourself and your ability to make your dreams a reality.
And never forget, the journey itself is just as important as the destination.
So keep exploring, keep experimenting, keep learning, and don't ever give up on those dreams. The online world is constantly changing, so embrace those changes, adapt your approach, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. The future is yours to create. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.